Hello everyone. If you've seen my past videos, you know that I've been doing my best to provide explanations for the conservative viewpoints on socio-political issues. Now, I'm not telling anyone what to think, but I have been explaining how the viewpoints are perfectly legitimate and not based around hatred and bigotry like many people think. But one reason I've found as to why people look down on conservative viewpoints is because they're commonly connected with religious philosophy, which itself has gotten a bad reputation in recent years. Now, despite the unfortunate existence of far too many extremist attitudes in this regard, I still maintain that, just like with the socio-political viewpoints I've talked about, having religious beliefs is still an acceptable position to take, even in today's world. Now, I grew up during a time when believing in God was the norm. People could just name drop God casually and no one would think anything sinister of it. There were people who didn't believe, but in my experience, they generally didn't look down on those who did. But now there's this huge rivalry between those who believe and those who don't, with people who believe in God often being viewed as religious fanatics who will inject their philosophies into everything they say, regardless of whether they have anything to do with what they're saying. Now, having grown up among Christians, I can say that yes, we do occasionally drop phrases like, "May God be with you," or something to that effect. But we don't recite entire biblical phrases in casual conversation. The little things we do say now and then are not attempts to promote ourselves or telling you what to believe. They're only gestures of well-wishing. That's it. It's part of our nature to do that. Do you really want to deny people this practice? Now, I'm not going to be someone who pushes his own beliefs on others, but I think I should address the question of why believing in a higher power went from being commonplace to being something that somehow warranted ridicule and scorn. Now, it's easy to say that the main reason people have turned their backs on religion is because this is the information age, and people are more inclined to believe something that has tangible evidence, or at the very least, research-based reasoning behind it, as opposed to something that would just have to be accepted on faith. To some extent, this may be true, but I think it goes a bit deeper than that. You see, the main cornerstone behind religious philosophy is a sense of hope, a belief that everything happens for a reason and that things will always find a way of working out, even when they don't look like they are. The belief in a higher power stems from this idea, that the whole mechanism of the universe goes way beyond our understanding, and that the driving force behind it is much bigger than ourselves. Now, the information age can show us everything that we know, but there's just as much, if not more, out there in the world that we don't know. Now, some people are content with living with just the information that they know, and if you're such a person, so be it. But at the same time, there's really nothing wrong with exploring possible reasons for the unknown. Whether you believe it's the work of a supreme being or an incorporeal kinship among all living things, it's perfectly normal to search both inwardly and outwardly for answers. It doesn't make you crazy or irrational. It makes you human. And as long as people aren't trying to push their beliefs or looking down on those who disagree, I don't think they should be attacked simply for being openly religious. Let me put this in another context. Now, I hate to play negative Nelson here regarding our current situation, but let me ask you something. Do you believe that this pandemic is actually going to end? Ever? Do you believe that our lives will ever get back to the way they were before? If so, why? There doesn't seem to be any reason to believe that, at all. It seems like every day the reports just keep getting worse. When the cases look like they're easing, they go right up again. The scheduled reopening dates just keep getting delayed and delayed. And every time it looks like there's some hope that things are improving, it gets dashed by another report. Someone says we haven't seen the worst yet, that the virus is even deadlier than we thought, that it's still going to be around even into next winter, and so on. So even after hearing all that, do you still believe that this pandemic will actually end? If you do, good for you. You now know what it's like to have faith in something without tangible evidence for it. And no one should mock you for it. So, the next time you want to attack someone simply for saying, "Praise the Lord," just think about it. You don't have to share the belief, but given how crazy the situations of the world can actually get, is the belief in a higher power really all that far-fetched? Maybe there's more to it than you realize. Thanks for watching.